Hi, welcome to Don's Manufactory. Well, I'm checking over Betsy here. Gave her a bath. She's looking sharp. We have a gorgeous day today, and I am going to go for an extended road test. I'm headed for the hills. So buckle up. Here we go. Stopped here to start the cameras. For you locals or anybody who wants to follow me on the map, I am on 224. I'm just leaving Estacada, and I'm headed east out to Promontory Park, North Fork Dam. Lots of childhood memories reside in that there locale. Haven't been out this way in many a year. And hearty thumbs up from motorcycle riders. Betsy's stylin'. Watching the video here, first thing I notice, I'm not doing a lot of steering input. Just pretty much, I turn the wheel this way or that way, but I'm not having to compensate or correct for wobbliness in the front end or looseness in the steering. That's pretty cool. Another thing I noticed, it doesn't look like I'm going 70 miles an hour, but I am. I guess maybe that's the way this video is going to be, is nothing looks as fast as it is, or maybe that you don't get to feel the anxiety or the whatever that I'm feeling as I'm getting into corners, and I don't actually trust the car yet. So as I'm throwing it into a corner, I'm not really sure what it's going to do, but I tend to drive conservatively because these mountain roads can offer anything at a moment's notice. Rocks, fallen trees, deer, anything like that. So here's Promontory Park over to the right. That place I was mentioning with all the childhood memories. Boy, pretty cool place. And it looks the same. Now you're just beginning to see it. We had a forest fire up through these hills, a couple of years ago, and this whole area was just devastated. We just left all the green trees and everything, and now you can see just how bare everything is. This is not a man-made fire. We had lightning storms come through, started a whole bunch of little fires that they couldn't get on top of, and they quickly joined into a monster that just devastated this entire area. It's really a shame. This is one of my favorite camping, boating, fishing areas. We're sort of headed up towards Timothy Lake, which was a place where we camped every single year, and all of that is closed and devastated by this fire. A friend of mine had a house out in this area, and but it was spared. and he took all his classic cars and moved them down to a small lake where there was a large clearing, and he left them there because he had to evacuate. And he just figured, well, there's no trees close by and the water's right there, and maybe the fire will be subdued and the cars will be spared. And indeed they were. Pretty amazing. Only the coming of the fall rains stopped the fire. It just was unstoppable. I don't think they ever got it more than 10 to 20% contained while the heat was on, but as soon as the rains came, then they could get ahead of it and stop the fire. Unfortunately, you can see that I am approaching or catching up to a truck here pulling a trailer. And so I had to slow down. The rest of the trip was 40 miles, 45, maybe 50 on it. It straightened out a bit. And so that was it for carving up the corners. I know it doesn't seem like I'm doing that much, but there's a pretty big difference between 50 miles an hour and 70 miles an hour on these rough mountain roads. Oh, I have to apologize for the quality of the video here. I don't know what the heck is going on with my camera. It just loses track of the color, like right now through the windshield. You can see it kind of changing a little bit, but it's there are times when the video, it just doesn't have any resolution and the colors are just completely yellowed out like it's an old 70s video. So I let the truck get out ahead of me, slow down for a while, let the truck get out ahead of me for a little bit, and then I'll speed up and cut a few corners, and then I catch up to him again. And oh well, it's it's all just a road test anyway, and I'm not racing, so there you go. Back in the day, that little road off to the right that I'm passing right now, that was my grandpa's favorite fishing spot. And these roads were all gravel, and the bridge didn't look this good either. It was all just very rustic, but pretty cool. Lots of childhood memories up here in the hills. I packed all of my camera gear with the hopes that I was going to set up the tripod and get some exterior shots of the car ripping through some corners and cutting them and everything. But as you can see, there's too much traffic and the road is just too narrow. There's no shoulder anywhere where I could set up a camera and feel good about leaving it behind and then waiting for traffic to clear and then racing by. It just wasn't in the cards. If I maybe had an extra person with me or something that I could set up in the woods there somewhere, maybe I could have got some cool shots or something, but oh well, you just have to deal with this single perspective view of the car. We are approaching the Ripplebrook Ranger Station here. This is where the truck was headed. And from this point up, the road gets a lot worse. It's a lot bumpier. There's potholes everywhere. The road is washed out, or there's sunken grade, and the pavement is torn. Hammers pretty hard at times. It's pretty rough. But at this point, I didn't have anybody in front of me for a long while, so I could sort of cut it up just a little bit and still stay safe. You got to remember, up here in the hills like this, Yeah, you can have a car come when you totally don't expect it, so you can't cut any corners. And then, of course, there's no cell service either. So if you do something stupid, there's no rescue. So yeah, I was a bit conservative, but for the most part, this stretch of the road, I ran along about 50 to 60 miles an hour. Off to the left there, you can see the road to Timothy Lake, and they just have it gated off. So now I'm on NF 46, sort of headed out towards Bagby Hot Springs for all you local folk. The road is actually not that bad, and as we go along here, the trees start turning green again, which is really great. You see they're burn off to the left, but up ahead there, look, green. It's nice to see that not the whole forest went down. You can see that the trees are still charred, so at this point the fire was on the ground burning all of the fuel that was down low, but the treetops were preserved. That will only happen when the wind's not blowing too much. As soon as the wind kicks up, it jumps to the treetops. It'll jump over lakes, rivers, roads, no problem. There are sections of the road here that are really rough. I was getting worried about the sidewalls on the tires. These 17s don't have near the sidewall that the 14s do, so banging a pothole or a place where the pavement is torn like that, whew, that's a pretty big bang on the suspension. Although those upper control arms tend to make it sound worse. Yeah, so when the road gets wet, I'm cautious. I slow down. You never know. This area is supposed to have snow in a couple of days. But roads up here can be very slimy, have moss on them and get wet, and you can throw it into a spin pretty easy if you're not careful. Did you notice those potholes there with paint around them? Yeah, it's nice of them to at least mark them like that so that I can avoid them. I did a pretty good job of avoiding them anyway. Every now and then, though, I'm going too fast and one catches me. You can really hear those upper control arms squeaking when I slow down. Yeesh. Okay, that one caught me off guard. Yikes. Okay, that's enough. Supposedly this road is supposed to end up here somewhere. Oh, listen to those upper control arms. Used to the clutch, that's for sure. Take it a little slower over those washouts now on the way back. Uh-oh, blue smoke ahead. So I slow down just to see what's going on. There's the Clackamas River right there, so you know if I had to, I could run out and splash water on it, whatever it is. But there seemed to be people there, and then there was a big cloud of steam coming up, so I think somebody was already working on it. And I said okay, and just drove on. Somewhere around here, there's a nice straight stretch road that I remembered when I was driving up. And, oh yeah, here it is. So, let's slow down and give this a shot. Driveline vibration. That is the first time I've done that. Plus, this new flywheel is not balanced like the old one. The motor is not as smooth as it was with the old flywheel, which was balanced with the motor when I built it. Yeah, and so the whole powertrain's got to come out and be redone. And oh gosh, there's those painted potholes again. And another thumbs up from an admirer. Potholes with the 17-inch wheels, that is for sure. End up popping a tire. Oh, look, I am behind that same truck again, only this time he's got a load in his trailer coming back down the mountain. Okay, enough of this. I have a cure for that. Can you hear that resonance? 250 hertz. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, I think it's the Monte Carlo bar ringing, being set off by road vibration. It's always the same note. Doesn't change with road speed, engine speed, or any of that. It's you'll notice as soon as we hit smoother pavement up here, it goes away. All right, caught in traffic, and I'll be rolling into Estacada here on the return trip. So I thought I'd just sort of summarize what I learned on this here trip. Number one, flywheel is out of balance, probably a good ounce and a half by how much it shakes the car, especially when you get up around 5,000, 5,500. Yikes. Driveline is out of, the angles on the driveline aren't right, but I already knew that, and I was going to take the rear springs out and have them re-arced, and in doing so I was going to change the degree plates under the differential there and get the angle set right. Let's see, the car can handle a lot more than I can. I'm way more cautious. The car never once felt like the front end was going to slide out or the back end was going to come around, or even that there was a hint of that, what I used to call Mustang chatter, of the front end just starting to shake and shimmy and then just go into understeer and to sort of slowly work its way off the road. I have none of that. The harder I pulled it into the corner, the harder it pulled, and the tires never once gave me a hint that they were close to the limit of how much traction they had, even when the road was wet. So I still have a lot of getting used to with this car. It's capable of a lot more than what I think it is, I think. And still, there's very little steering gear input going on. You can see that right here. And it's just smooth and, well, okay, we won't say smooth because the flywheel is shaking. But the car itself the chassis is really good. Really liking it. Okay, so this will wrap up the video for today. Okay, I'm back. As I alluded to in the video, major teardown coming up. The flywheel is out of balance, which means the whole powertrain has to come out. Well, at least transmission, bell housing, flywheel. And I might as well do the differential, third member and stuff at the same time. Here we are again. It's brand new flywheel, supposed to be a 28 ounce, which should be okay for the motor, but it's at least 1 or maybe 1.5 ounces off by the way the car shakes. So, you know, I've been driving this thing like a grandpa. Heck, I didn't, until I started revving it up, I hadn't even noticed the vibration. The upper control arms, they never stopped squeaking, even though I smeared grease on them and everything. The handling was really good. The steering was really good. It was a fun drive, 100 miles up in, well, it was 50 miles up and 50 miles back, just going up into the mountains, and lots of twisties and stuff. Good fun. So thanks for watching Dodge Manufactory. I'll catch you later.